Okay, so quick rundown of the games that we have seen this weekend. It's been a really interesting weekend in the English Premier League and of course in the Spanish La Liga, where we saw the
Look,
El
there's
Clasico.
a reason I'm laughing. You know, the United Strand guy is finally going to go to the haircut salon. You know, I think that guy has a mother, and the mistake he made was to make it public that he was only going to have a haircut when Manchester United will win 5 games. So
Okay.
his mother might have gone with other mothers to go
Mm,
spiritual to ensure
okay.
that Manchester United win those 5 games.
He said five games,
No,
and we are just 3 games in.
no.
You still have to win your next
It's
two
obvious we
games.
are beating Nottingham Forest based on our form.
You still have to win your
We are
next.
not
You
Chelsea.
still have to win your next two games,
We are
and
not
of course,
Chelsea. Listen,
before
we
that
are not
guy's
Chelsea.
bet can be activated. But welcome to the show. Thank you for being a part
We are not
of
Chelsea.
the show this evening. Quickly, let's look at all of the games that we had this weekend. Fantastic results coming in. If you are an Arsenal fan, if you're a Man United fan, fantastic results. But those are the only two big six teams really
You know,
that got 3 points so far. Tottenham Hotspur, of course, will be playing later tonight. But let's quickly look at the Manchester United versus Brighton game. Brighton looked like they were going to pose a threat to Man United, seeing that they had not lost to United in the league since 2021. But of course, United were too good for them on the day.
there's only one club to be supported.
Yeah.
You know, and that club is Manchester United. So we said it. We said that once these players, because I actually believe that the players were as much to blame as Ruben Amorim. And
Yeah.
credit to Ruben Amorim, he he finds a way to shift the focus from the players when they lose,
Mm.
and he finds a way to put the players on the spot
Yeah.
when they win.
Yeah.
And I said that Manchester United finishing 15th last season, it had a lot to do with the players' technicality
Mm.
and their ability to adapt to a new system, because you're a professional footballer. It's not like when you close from training ground in Manchester United, you have to go and be a bricklayer, or you have to go and be a welder, an electric
Mm.
welder, or you have to be a mason.
Yeah.
You are a footballer, for crying out loud. So even if you are a center forward and your manager tells you to play as a center defender, you should be able to, do one or two things there.
Yeah.
So, and I think that the game against Brighton, for those of us who have supported Ruben Amorim for a long time, it wasn't because I was not infuriated by the results, but I understood Amorim's personality,
Mm.
and I understood his football philosophy. That was what, because I take out my time to study out a coach's football philosophy. I had to read through his thesis when he was, still in the coaching school. I have to follow how he coached in Sporting Lisbon, because I'm not just a normal football viewer.
Yeah.
I tend to analyze all of these things, and I knew that if Ruben Amorim clicks, it's going to be a problem for the other English Premier League teams. And I've always stated this: people should stop saying it's the system. It should change from 3 at the back to 4 at the back. And it's lost 4 games in a row, won in the Champions League and lost again, which means that he has lost 4 Premier League games in a row. He lost to Crystal Palace, that started the run of losses.
Yeah.
He lost to Chelsea, he lost to Manchester United,
and
and he lost to Brentford.
Yeah.
People are not telling him to change from 4 at the back to 5 at the back or 3 at
Yeah.
the back.
Yeah.
You understand the point? So when I see such arguments, it's a pedestrian argument that we should not have. What we want for, if Ben Amorim had come like second or third or even fourth last season, we should have been saying, okay, can you change the system, took it a bit to see if that can prepare you to first. But when you come 15th, it shows that there's a lack of adaptability and quality in the players, and thankfully the players have improved.
Yeah.
It was a very good game for Manchester United. We were never at risk of, we controlled the game. It was 3-0. It could have easily been 5. We had penalty shouts that weren't given, and at the end of the day, we saw Brighton. Brighton. They scored with a very wonderful free kick from. You said it that
Danny Welbeck was
definitely going to score,
yeah.
And I said no, because I believed in the goalkeeper that we had, Lemmens. It's an improvement on Alter Bayindish and Andre Onana. Even though I loved Onana so much, but I have to admit that it wasn't really. Onana is not a bad goalkeeper, but it wasn't really a fit for the Manchester United squad. So it's like a breath of fresh air, even from his very first game Within 30 minutes, Manchester United were already chanting his name. That showed the quality that he brought into the team and the defense. True. So yeah, so it was 2-0 in the first half. We had an early goal in the second half, and then they came back with an outstanding free kick from Welbeck, and in the extra time they had a corner kick goal until Mbeumo got the winning goal. So we have never been in danger of actually losing that game. It was a game that we controlled. Although at the end of the day, we failed to manage the game. And that's the difference between Arsenal and other teams in the world now. If it were Arsenal leading you by 3-0, I'm just laughing.
They will surely have been able to manage the game.
They'll be able to manage the game.
Fantastic
even if you have
performance
kick,
from Matheus Cunha. At least he has opened his account for Manchester United.
It was like 0-10 in Manchester United.
Yes,
before.
And of course he did that. Mbeumo also new signing, bagging 2 goals in that game. I saw that game, and I was telling Charles, our producer, that I enjoy watching this Man United team because the tempo of the game was really fast.
Yeah,
really exciting football for me, really. Unlike the Chelsea game I saw earlier, this Man United game was fast. It was exciting. I saw both teams looking like they really wanted to score and get all 3 points. United were just too good for Brighton on the day. Bruno Fernandes, pretty
Fernandes.
Good game.
I think for the fourth goal, when we talk about the playmaking abilities of Bruno Fernandes, and like I coach a local football team, and I try to instill my knowledge of the game on them, and I tell them the football can only be with one footballer at a time.
At the time, of course.
Out of the 22 of them. So at times, your positioning, what you do, how you think about the game can actually influence
your movement of the ball. Yes, very important.
When the ball was cleared by the Brighton defense, in heaven, that wasn't even a pass. It was much like a clearance. Took the ball, and then you could see Bruno Fernandes. He had already watched to observe the position of Brian Mbeumo, and because they train often, he knew instinctively that Brian Mbeumo was going to make that run. And that's how he left the ball. It wasn't an assist because he didn't touch the ball, but he was the one that owned that goal. And Brian Mbeumo finished for his 5th goal for Manchester United.
So all of the talk about the players not playing for Amorim obviously have been put to rest in the last 3 games.
I think the interview that Jim Ratcliffe gave and then told these guys that, look, we're giving this guy 3 years. We don't care about his league's position. That must have awoken something in the players, because at times, like Mikel B said, there's player power. So why they might have been looking for a way to get him fired from his job, if at all they were, that interview could have told the guys that, look, this guy is
stuck with this guy for 3 years.
We are stuck with this guy. So what we have to do is to
find a way to play
for him. And kudos to Amorim again, I have to say it, because he was a professional footballer that played at the top level. He knows how footballers think. He knows how they behave. And there's a change in the dressing room in Manchester United. And like he said, it's not like he's not willing to change his system, but he wants to ensure that Manchester United defenders and footballers, not just the defenders, they understand the system and they're able to play it instinctively. And like I always said, Ruben Amorim is a very attacking coach, because even his wing backs are always made up of wingers. You understand? From Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United, imagine playing a right wing forward in the person of Amad Diallo as a right wing back. That tells you that he's very, very offensive. But what he does with having 3 central defenders is that he wants to protect the defense in case of a transition. That's having a very strong rest defense that you can bank on in case of a transition. By the time Manchester United clicks, it will be a problem for all other English teams, even the European teams.
Fantastic run from Man United in last 3 games, of course, and we hope to see
the United Strand guy caught his hair,
and of course the guy waiting to see that win, right?
Yeah,
5 straight wins before he can cut his hair, and we hope that he's able to do that this season and as soon as possible.